I'm pleased to inform the conference that Australia will move to immediately ratify the Kyoto Protocol.
190 nations, 2 weeks of talks and a planet to save. The Bali Climate Conference getting off to an optimistic start. Australia's decision to join the club, leaving America isolated as the only industrialised country unwilling to go down the road of legally binding commitments to cut greenhouse gas emissions.
We're not here to be a roadblock. We're committed to a successful conclusion here, and we're going to work very constructively to make that happen.
At stake, what will follow the Kyoto Protocol that runs out in 2012. That committed industrialised countries to cuts in their emissions, but it did not require action from rapidly industrialising countries like China or India, whose emissions are rising fast. And because there seems to be no realistic alternative, the new treaty will be based on Kyoto.
So has Kyoto worked to justify more of the same? Well, up to a point. The latest data from the industrialised countries who've signed the Kyoto Protocol shows their emissions, compared with the base year of 1990, fell until 2000. But that was mainly due to the economic collapse of the former Soviet Union. Since then, they've been rising steadily. Even so, they are predicting they'll still have made cuts of nearly 11% by the end of the Kyoto period, well ahead of their 5% target. Don't forget, though, that America and Australia refused to sign Kyoto. Factor in their emissions, and Kyoto would have been well and truly busted.
And there was a gaping hole in the Kyoto Protocol. Some 20% or so of the world's emissions every year are caused by the destruction of forests. Huge amounts of carbon are locked up in trees and soil, but Kyoto excluded them. In Bali, countries with forests have proposed they be paid carbon credits for leaving them untouched.
These ancient forests are worth more dead than alive. The forces of deforestation always outcompete conservation, and those forces are things like the production of beef, the production of soya, palm oil, and also poor people who are trying to feed their families. Now, in Bali, for the first time, forests are really on the agenda, and we hope that the governments will, make the right decision.
Bali is critical. The aim, a roadmap for a deal to be signed in Copenhagen in 2009, after which, says the man who warned about the costs of delaying action, it'll be too late.
We're in a hurry, and the later we leave it, the more difficult and costly the right kind of action is going to be. If we want emissions to peak by 2020, then 2009 is already quite late.
It'll be a tough target. The developing nations will fight tooth and nail for shares to be fair. But there is an American election before 2009, and a new president willing to get on board may just be the catalyst required.